Welcome back to Coffee with Yvonne, a show for creators and entrepreneurs. I'm Yvonne Pearson, your host and darling, the founder of Pink Dollhouse Marketing. And you know what? Let's get into this first. Don't I look like a newscaster with this jacket? It's giving a la news at 11 with the blazer, but it is actually vintage Ralph Lauren that I bought off of eBay. If FYI, like I would say maybe 7+ years ago. It's been a good piece in my wardrobe ever since. It's actually a personal favorite of mine. But that's not why we're here. We're here this week because we're back for another Marketing Magic episode. And before we get into this week's chat, just a heads up, we have 5 more episodes left to the season, including this one, before I go on summer hiatus. And for those of you who just joined the Coffee with Yvonne family, Chatme, I need to come up with a name for y'all, to be honest. But for those of you who just joined this season, I usually go on summer hiatus between now and the beginning of fall. This gives me a chance to prepare not only for the new season, but also to creatively recharge so I can come back fresh, excited, and ready to go for the pod. For this week, we're talking all about marketing magic, and we're going to dive into popular campaigns that you've seen come across your timeline, but may not have known the marketing strategies behind them. So, we're going to chat all about how Roblox is a new retail frontier, Court to C-Suite, Serena's power play, and then Amtrak's colorful collaboration with Crayola. So grab your coffee and let's chat. And actually this week, y'all, there is coffee in my cup. I did iced coffee with the Chobani white chocolate mocha creamer. For those of y'all who have not tried Chobani's white chocolate mocha creamer or the sweet cream, you're missing out. You're missing out because, baby, when I tell you it adds the flavor, it adds the flavor to my coffee. All right, let's get into our first story, which is all about Roblox and their new retail frontier. I got this article from Vogue Business, and if you see me looking down at my screen, just know I bring notes to the conversation to make sure that we're having an engaged and informed chat. So to read an excerpt from the article, as artificial intelligence has skyrocketed to the fore, luxury fashion and beauty brands have placed their metaverse strategies and experimentation on the back burner. Now, Roblox has a new offering to get them back into the fold: the opportunity to sell real physical goods on the Roblox platform. From the 15th of May, approved brands, creators, and merchandisers and intellectual property holders will be able to sell physical products within shoppable Roblox experiences. In partnership with Shopify, under Roblox's new commerce APIs, users will be able to purchase physical goods in platform and get digital replicas for use on Roblox as well. So let's get into those marketing takeaways. Now, let's keep in mind, I am not a gamer girly, even though I did dabble when I was a little girl. I had a do not do the math in your head, okay? I had a Sega Genesis. God, I love that Sega Genesis. I think the game that I had for that one was, let's see, it was Sonic. Yes, I had a Sonic game on my Sega Genesis, and I also knew how to play like Mortal Kombat. Yes, I knew how to play Mortal Kombat. Don't let the book be judged by its cover, okay? I knew how to play Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter, and I loved and still love to this day a good Mrs. Pac-Man game. Actually, if you ever see me in these streets and I'm in an arcade, you can always challenge me to a Mrs. Pac-Man game, and I promise you, I am not going to back down from a challenge. I also had a Game Boy Pocket, I had a Game Gear, Sega Game Gear, and a Nintendo 64. My Game Boy Pocket and Game Gear still works. It's actually at my mama's house, but I know she has my toys in the box somewhere in the basement. I used to love playing games. Now, since it has shifted now to a digital space, I'm not a gamer girly like I used to when I was younger, but I really do enjoy how gaming has evolved in terms of, transferring that space into like movies, merchandise, real world experiences like Mario with Universal Studios and things like that. So when we're talking about these marketing takeaways, we're talking about things like seamless integration of physical and digital shopping experiences. And Roblox partnership with Shopify, it introduces a frictionless shopping journey where users can purchase physical products without leaving the gaming environment. So think about it this way. You're logged onto your Roblox thing. Let me put down my coffee so I can talk with my hands. I'm a hand talker. You log into Roblox, you're in the gaming system, and you have this opportunity to purchase products. In the past, you would have to leave the interface to go to another platform. But what a lot of companies are doing now with this in-app experience, think like Instagram when they launch, Instagram shopping, think like TikTok shop and things like that. They're trying to keep you in platform as much as possible. Because ideally, the longer you're on their platform, the longer you're using the platform in your day-to-day practice. Having Roblox have this partnership with Shopify to enable people to purchase products in the platform means that people will be in there longer and also see more uses for the platform to integrate into their entire gaming experience. The other thing is, this seamless integration caters to the expectations of Gen Z consumers who value convenience and immersive experiences. Gen Z, as we all know, grew up with technology. They don't know a world without the internet. All right. Now we know a world without the internet because there was a time that little AOL like running man was part of my teenage years, and also having a landline connected to your internet. Again, don't do the math. But for a lot of us who came up in those internet streets when we were very young, we know what it's like to have a world without technology part of our day to day, and a world where we saw the technology boom. For marketers, in this key takeaway, this underscores the importance of meeting consumers where they are and blending digital engagement with real world commerce. As technology continues to evolve, we're going to see more and more things like this pop up, also becoming part of our marketing tactics. Technology is not going away. And there's a phrase I always say, you don't want to become a marketing dinosaur. Essentially, you don't want for your marketing strategies and tactics to become outdated. So by embracing things like technology and in-app experiences, on-site experiences, virtual reality, augmented reality, etc., it will help to keep a brand relevant for the future so they don't go away. Because the last thing you want is for younger generations not to know who you are or move on to another platform who has embraced technology in their strategies. In our second takeaway, leveraging virtual platforms to drive real-world sales. Like I mentioned before with things like TikTok Shop and Instagram Shopping, the initiative demonstrates how virtual platforms can be powerful channels for promoting and selling physical products. By offering exclusive items within the game, brands like Fenty Beauty, they do have a partnership with Roblox that just recently launched, create a sense of urgency and exclusivity, encouraging in-game purchases that translate to real-world sales. This strategy highlights the potential, again, like I stated before, of virtual environments to serve as effective marketing and sales platforms. And the way I see it too, and again, for those of you who are new here, sometimes my brain is working in real time while I'm recording this pod, so work with me here. There's a lot of stuff that lives in this head. Don't be afraid. Sometimes it's very brilliant, just to let you know. But the way I see it, there was this movie, I cannot think of the name of it right now. I think it was called like Gamer One or something like that, where it was this world in the future, I would say more so in the very near future, where people would engage through their virtual reality characters or their gaming style characters. And it was to the point that there were like clubs, meetups, socials, all this kind of stuff that lived in this virtual reality world. You could even see like ads and products and everything else. Now, in the end, it did not turn out too well for those who were users of the platform. It got to a point where it became just a little bit too much. But in the real world that we're living in right now, we're starting to see a shift of virtual environments having real power play in the real world space. Like I mentioned in a previous podcast episode about T-Pain joining the Global Gaming League as a director, I think a creative director for their organization, we're starting to see more and more people shift into that virtual space and see value of what that can bring for their business. By Roblox introducing this virtual retail world into their strategy, you're going to start to see a lot more brands think through how they can include and incorporate their products into this virtual space. More so, again, with Gen Z, this is another way of building brand loyalty very early. Gen Z is now evolving into a new market share. They're finally shifting away from blaming millennials for everything or focusing on us about buying products as a centered market. We are now shifting from being the focal point to now we're essentially the parents, aunts, uncles, and guardians of Gen Z and underneath it, Gen Alpha. So to get into Gen Z early, getting them to have that brand loyalty, whether it's with a beauty product, a brand, etc., will be very important. But more so important is how it's communicated through that targeted strategy. Gen Z, again, is very tapped in. So thinking that things like a commercial or something like that is going to move the needle with Gen Z, it's just not going to do it. Things like this virtual reality or even Roblox, their platform, is going to be the way to talk to them strategically. And I'm very interested to see how brands adapt their marketing messaging to meet Gen Z in this space. Next up is reinvigorating brand engagement through innovative channels. With some luxury brands previously stepping back from the metaverse strategies, Roblox's new commerce feature presents an opportunity to re-engage with digital audience in innovative ways, like I've mentioned before. By merging entertainment with shopping, brands can revitalize their presence among younger demographics. Again, it is important to keep evolving your strategies. This, again, will foster that brand loyalty and expand their reach in the digital realm. And it just makes me concerned knowing that some brands are holding on to their old school playbook and not willing to grow with the changing space. In recent years, we have seen some heritage brands either fall dramatically with their sales. For example, Estee Lauder, who currently is struggling to figure out their placement in the market. And it's kind of sad to see because the old school playbook is not working in the new school realm. And in order for brands to survive, again, they have to adapt. So by reinvigorating that brand engagement through these innovative channels, brands can adapt, adjust, and refine what they're doing to meet these new customers in this new space. One of the things I am excited to talk about in our next takeaway are those virtual influencers. Virtual influencers are gaining real influence. Roblox creators, aka, I would say like virtual influencers, like I said before, but we need a more spicier name for them, don't we? Aren't just building avatars, they're shaping trends and culture for Gen Z and Gen Alpha. These influencers, like real life influencers we see on TikTok, aka the Clock app, Instagram, Snapchat, and other social media platforms, have loyal followings, creative control, and now the ability to monetize real world goods. For collaboration, Roblox native creators can be just as impactful as partnering with traditional influencers, and maybe even more so for younger audiences. And thinking about it even further, social media, while it has been around for, my God, 20 plus years at this point, because even though we think of Facebook as essentially the catalyst for social media, there were other social media platforms before Facebook. There was MySpace, there was Tumblr, there was Black Planet, there was AIM, all these different platforms. So social media itself has evolved over recent years, but really exploded with the release of Facebook, which was originally for college students, just FYI. Roblox appears to be the evolution of social media. So social media now is considered the base. And Roblox, if we were to imagine a house, social media has created the foundational blocks, right? It's shown that we can engage virtually. It's shown that we can have things like phone conversations, events, all the things, engagement tools, comments, etc. through this platform. It also has shown that we can build avatars because there's an option to build your own digital avatar on platforms like Snapchat, Instagram, etc. What Roblox is doing is now taking the base of social media that to create another foundational brick underneath it was amplified through technology and the internet, and then they're taking the next step up through this virtual engagement. The virtual engagement will also change the way we think about, again, influencers. Influencers before used to be people we thought of as real world people, but now, even through platforms like Facebook and Instagram, we're starting to see a growth in AI generated influencers who are not real people but controlled by real people on the back end or through AI prompts. With Roblox creating these real world engagement scenarios, we're going to see companies start to put in their marketing strategy investing in Roblox influencers to push their product or their messaging. I won't be surprised when we start to see campaigns led completely in the Roblox space and promoted directly through that channel to that audience that don't even involve real people behind the actual campaign. So like you're looking at me right now, instead of looking at me, you're going to be looking at a Roblox character who's going to be pushing or selling a product message. Okay, in our next story, let's talk about that C-suite girl is Serena and her power play. Now, first of all, ma'am, I love to see it. You know what? I can remember when Serena was on the court. I was a little girl at the time, and her sister Venus would play tennis, and they would have the beads in their hair. And I remember one time I got my hair braided by my mom because I think she would do it either on the weekends or like Sunday night. She would braid my hair and put little beads at the end. She would get so upset with me when she would find out that most of the beads that she put in my hair would end up all over the playground because I was just running around like a child should be. I remember Serena and Venus being a key inspo behind those beaded hairstyles and braids. But to see Serena evolve from the tennis player, actually, let's take a step back. To see Serena evolve from the GOAT that she is to now becoming a businesswoman, to becoming a philanthropist and an advocate, it's just wonderful to see. Because that's not always the case for people who enter the sports or entertainment industry. Longevity is not a thing in real life. You're very lucky if you're around, and also if you're around and known throughout multiple generations. So this story came from The Wrap. And to pull an excerpt from the article, it states, in addition to the athlete and businesswoman, Williams, the new series will feature Queen of Latin pop Thalia, former model and fashion designer D. Oclepo Hilfiger, MarketAmericaShop.com CEO Lauren Rendinger, beauty entrepreneur, I can read, y'all, and K-Skin founder Winnie Harlow, Contour Capital founder Hannah Brothman, and fashion and jewelry designer Isabel Rangel Gretman. So the docuseries will follow the women as they navigate the success and challenges of both their professional and personal lives, and will showcase the subjects coming together to unwind, bond, and uplift each other. Now, before we get into those marketing takeaways, I think it's very smart for Prime, the platform where this show will be featured, to partner with Serena Williams on creating the show. Everyone talks about being a girl boss, a CEO, who run the world? Girls. Everyone talks about that, but they don't talk about what it takes to actually get there. It takes so much sacrifice. It takes a lot of hard work. It takes, betting on yourself when no one else wants to take the risk to get to that level. And it also takes investment. And investment doesn't just mean monetary. Investment means time and resources that you're pouring into yourself or the things that you're interested in amplifying and growing. For them to create this series that, from my personal research looking into the show, appears to be a very diverse and very multi-background cast, because it's not just about amplifying the girlies who come from a strong financial foundation, but also those who have pulled themselves up financially and in the various industries that they're in to create and cause positive change to develop these businesses. So let's get into those marketing takeaways, shall we? The first thing let's talk about, highlighting female empowerment. And like I mentioned before, I love the fact that Prime is providing space for Serena to create the show and bring in women who also have that same message with their businesses and their personal brand. By focusing on female CEOs, it underscores a commitment to spotlighting women's achievements in various industries. This aligns with growing customer interest in content that promotes diversity and empowers underrepresented groups. Again, that CEO mindset, girl boss, things like that. And it's more than just, again, saying this is a woman, she has made it. It's about telling impactful stories. And by using a global platform like Prime, which is the next thing we're going to talk about in our next marketing takeaway, that global reach through streaming platforms, By using the Prime Video, knowing that so many people are going to see it, roughly 240 countries will have access to this content, it ensures a broad international audience. It also maximizes exposure and reinforces Amazon's position in the competitive streaming market. As streaming continues to be the dominant force in media in terms of television or digital programming, it is smart for platforms like Prime to continue to evolve their original content strategies. It's no longer just good enough to repurpose a show that you've seen a bajillion times on various platforms, which, while that can be helpful, we all love a good rerun. Creating original content also creates sustainability for keeping the interest of the people who pay for those subscriptions. And then let's get into that cross-industry collaboration. Again, featuring individuals from diverse backgrounds and diverse business sectors like sports, fashion, beauty, and entrepreneurship, it demonstrates the value of cross-industry partnerships. Such collaborations can attract varied audience segments and create multifaceted marketing opportunities. Then, also thinking about personal exposure on their individual channels, each of these women who are featured in the show have their own social media channels, have their own audiences. So it's essentially like Amazon Prime, while they're going to do promotion because they're going to do promotion, they may not have to put as much marketing dollars or power behind amplifying the show. These women can easily do a social media post, of course, with, pre-curated content that's approved by the Prime team and their individual PR teams, and create buzz around the show. Someone like Serena Williams, all she got to do, essentially, is turn the camera on, start talking, or do some kind of video saying, watch my new series on Prime, all about the girl bosses coming to you on da-da-da date. And it'll have impact and go instantly viral because she's a recognizable face. It also would be smart, too, if Prime tapped into those individual areas of business and created content that specifically talks to that audience. For example, Serena Williams could be on the tennis court, and she could do something like, while my journey as a shepreneur started out on the tennis court, it did not end there. Catch me on this new show, blah, 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 date, talking about my journey from the tennis court to the boardroom. And then, maybe she transfers from wearing her tennis uniform to now she's in the boardroom wearing a smart outfit with like a tennis skirt, like a business tennis skirt. And her racket is no longer in her hand, but it's like a frame racket behind her in her office. Kind of show that transition again from the court to the C-suite. Another idea could be leveraging Winnie Harlow, who is a former model. I don't know if she still models, but former model and the founder of K-Skin. It could be her walking the runway. Like why I may have been introduced to you as a top model, I'm now introducing you to the top CEO boss or something like that, creator and founder of K-Skin. And then it could go into whatever tagline they decide to create for her campaign. Wrapping it up with a big bow, there's many opportunities here that the Prime Video team can use to promote this new show. I am looking forward to see how this messaging will come about, and I'm hoping that it stays positive because shows like this can easily go a different direction in focusing on the behind-the-scenes drama instead of the empowerment. In our final story, Amtrak's colorful collaboration with Crayola. Now, again, another childhood memory here. Crayola. I remember, if you want to walk down memory lane with me, I remember having the 64 crown pack of Crayola. And my mom would buy it for me because I had like coloring books I was a very creative child. Coloring books on coloring books. And it had a little pencil sharpener in the back. Y'all remember that? Is it just me? If so, don't respond in the comments. Okay. Anyway, Amtrak, and I pulled this from their media page, is teaming up with Crayola for a new campaign. To pull a blurb from the article, it says, "We're thrilled to announce our newly minted partnership with Crayola, arriving just in time for the summer travel season. Both Amtrak and Crayola are iconic brands, which together can unlock unique, memorable experience for children and adults alike," says Jessica Davison, Amtrak's Vice President of Digital and Brand Marketing. Between special savings and imaginative locomotive designs, We are excited to foster extraordinary journeys and inspire creativity across America. For those marketing takeaways, let's first talk about experimental marketing through visual appeal. So, they'll essentially be taking two Amtrak Sprinter locomotives and wrapping them in vibrant Crayola themed designs featuring colors like violet blue and dandelion along with Crayola characters. These eye-catching trains will serve as moving advertisements, capturing the attention along the Northeast Corridor from Washington, D.C., hey girlies, to Boston. And thinking about that from a visual perspective, let me put my coffee down again because I need to use my hands. Imagine being on the train. You're on your way, like for a lot of us who live in the DC area, taking a train from DC to New York it's like a Tuesday to us, essentially. But imagine being on a train and you see this brightly colored and wrapped locomotive train pass right by you, or sitting at the train station as the train you're going to get on before you make your journey. Think about the social media and content that will be created behind this. Not only will you see user-generated content amplified around this campaign, but you'll also see more awareness about it too, that the Amtrak and Crayola team could then repackage for their individual assets. Then, let's think about it even further. Keeping things like Amtrak top of mind as a travel partner for your summer plans. While a lot of us automatically default to taking a plane or maybe, taking a cross country or what they call road trip, Amtrak has been around for over a century at this point and still is considered a great way of getting to and from different places. By leveraging something so familiar as Crayola, which many of us had as children, and now taking it and turning one of their cars into a big crown, it's going to also resonate with older adults who remember the nostalgia behind Crayola. And nostalgia is something that is a moneymaker for a lot of campaigns. When you tap into that memory for people when they were children, it brings up warm feelings and associations that then can be leveraged to purchase or further support the product that's being rolled out in that offering. Next up, let's talk about the value-added promotions to drive bookings. Like it was mentioned in the blurb that I read to you, the campaign offers compelling incentives. 1, kids ride free. Now, I like the idea of kids riding free because have you seen the price of children? Have you seen it? I seen it. They expensive. And they like Sephora now, too. When did that happen? When did they stop? When did it go from McDonald's money to Chipotle hibachi money? I just would like to know who started that and have them meet me outside in the parking lot. But kids ride free. So children can travel free on the Amtrak Auto Train between Lorton, VA and Sanford, Florida, in coach class or first class private rooms through August 31st of this year. Then they'll also have a free Crayola experience admission. With any Amtrak child ticket, families can receive free entry to a Crayola experience located in various parts of the United States, including the Mall of America, from May 8th to August 31st. Next up, let's talk about that emphasis on creativity and imagination. This partnership promotes the theme creativity on the go. I had to add a little drama to that, on the go. Encouraging children and adults to explore their creativity during travel. By integrating Crayola's creative ethos with Amtrak's travel experience, the campaign fosters a unique and memorable journey for families. Again, tapping into that nostalgia is very important and very lucrative. And then finally, for our key marketing takeaways, that multi-channel engagement strategy. The campaign will leverage various channels, including visually striking train designs, like I mentioned, special offers, and digital platforms like the Amtrak app to reach and engage the target audience effectively. This integrated approach, outside of just social media, ensures consistent messaging across the channels and also a broad reach. More importantly for Amtrak, again, I just love the innovation that's coming from the team because, like I mentioned before in our earlier story, talking about Roblox and how they're creating retail spaces on the virtual platform, it's very easy to get stuck in your own marketing playbook because it's worked for a number of years. If you choose not to evolve in your strategy, people will eventually take your product from top of mind to moving it in placement to replace it with other products who have evolved in what they're doing. Okay, I hope you enjoyed today's chat. Don't forget to follow Coffee with Yvonne on Instagram or Threads at Coffee with Yvonne. You can sign up for my newsletter to get personalized audio and video content, Coffee with Yvonne podcast episodes, and marketing magic breakdowns that you don't get from social media or from the show. By visiting the show notes. For my personal account, you can find me on Instagram and TikTok, aka the Clock app, at Yvonne_creative marketer. To learn more about me and my business, go ahead and visit pinkdollhousemarketing.com. I had to sing it for you. .com. Or you can slide into my DMs on Instagram at pinkdollhousemarketing. And creatives, I'm going to say this every week until you get it in a good way. Remember to keep showing up, keep creating, and that your voice matters. I'll see you next time on Coffee with Yvonne. We only have a few episodes left. Remember I told y'all, okay? All right, I'll chat with you soon. Okay, bye! This was good coffee, though. Coffee with Yvonne is produced and edited by Yvonne Pearson. Coffee with Yvonne is created by Pink Dollhouse Marketing. You can catch the latest episodes by subscribing to Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts.